Greetings, fellow Biblical and Theological Foundations grad students. Here is my video for our assignment, both integration essay and discussion of what stood out to us most from the class this quarter. So I'm going to talk about first the thing that stood out to us the most, which was I really enjoyed the book by Bruce Ashford, Every Square Inch. I really enjoyed just his discussion of developing a theology for culture. I don't think that's something I ever thought about when it came to culture and as a Christian being engaged with culture. It was really interesting to read just kind of his perspective on how as Christians we should see the mandate in Genesis as the origination of our desire and heart to engage in culture, that really God has built into us. God has built into us and programmed us to be creators, and culture is a huge part of that. And I really loved his point about God created the earth, and it was good, of course, and created everything that was in it, but he created us, and as image bearers, he's created us to create and to improve upon what he has created, which is really cool and just really life-giving and really freeing, I think. But the essential point there of just being Christians who are in and for culture, I think a lot of times we're known for what we're against and what we're not, and rather I think we should be known for what we're for, and the cultural aspects that we are, that are a part of that. You know, as Christians, we can either be a part of creating positive culture and creating positive change, or we can be a part of creating negative culture. And even our abstinence from culture is a part of creating that negative culture. So we should be laying claim to that identity within us to define culture and to really show the world what gospel culture is, what God-driven culture looks like, and how beautiful it really can be. So that's kind of some of my thoughts on Bruce Ashford's book, Every Square Inch. Really enjoyed it. I've already recommended it to several friends. And then as far as my integration essay, so I am, just to remind everyone, I'm taking my master's in business administration. I currently work at the Anchorage Airport doing business development, but I actually recently, as you'll see if you read my integration essay, accepted a position here at a community center built by a church here in Anchorage to be the executive director. So the community center is a combination of a gym and event center, and it was built as kind of an enterprising ministry by a church here to be its own independent organization, really to bless the community. So for me, studying business has become even more important and essential and a part of my life. And so the basic premise of my essay is that good business can drive good ministry, and I really believe that. I believe that at the center, which is what the place is called that I will be managing, at the center we really can take that paradigm and use it to create a gospel environment that is successful and healthy and fiscally stable. So that's kind of what I talk about. So the three kind of major premises of behind that thesis is that, first of all, we should seek to be excellent servants in our business and in our work. And our businesses all serve a customer, and so that customer is interacting with us and seeing just kind of what our perspective is on what our work is and what the environment that we're creating. And for me, that involves excellence and involves servanthood. Secondly, obviously stewardship, stewarding the resources responsibly in business. It's important, obviously responsibility, accountability, those are all, great fundamental business practices. But ultimately that's stewardship, and God calls us to be good stewards of the things He's given us, and we should see the resources that we have as being blessings so that we can use them for others, which leads into my next point, which is that ultimately I think the heart of all successful business and building wealth and being financially successful should be so that we can be generous. and so that we can bless others. I think God has a heart of generosity and is programmed into our DNA as believers to be generous as well. And so any good business, whether it's a nonprofit or it's a ministry or it's just even a for-profit business, should have the desire, the heart at its very core, if it's God-driven, to be generous and to bless others. And that includes financially, that includes in its dealings with people, being generously, and of course, definitely being generous with the gospel, and seeking to share that wealth and share that knowledge with everyone that comes through the doors of that business. So those are kind of some of the highlights of what I talk about in my integration essay. I think it's really important that we have godly business-minded people. You can see them in the church. You can see them outside of the church. But ultimately, God-driven business creates wealth so that we can bless people physically, but also so that we can be in a position to just serve them well. So I hope that was interesting and engaging and that you enjoy the essay if you read it. And we look forward to reading some of yours.